Today we're going to create values in color. I'm going to be using colored pencils, but this works for any color media, oil pastels, paint, color pencil, etc. So how do you darken a color? What can you add? You may say you can add black, and of course you can add black, but that can take the color out of the color. It can dampen or deaden it. So we want to use complementary colors to darken colors. In real life, if you look carefully at shadows, you can see color in the shadows. So the first thing is it's important to know what your complementary colors are. Those are the colors opposite on each other on the color wheel. There's three complementary pairs, and the first one is red and green. The second one is yellow and violet, and the third one is blue and orange. And we have some little mnemonic devices, some little tricks to help you remember what the pairs are. And so red and green, you can think of Christmas. Yellow and violet, you can think of LSU, you could think of St. Aug, you could think of Edna Carr, you could think of, anything that uses violet and yellow. And then the last one is blue and orange, and we couldn't think of anything right off the bat, so some students came up with a couple things. First thing was Blorange. It's really easy to remember because it's the BL from blue and orange. So Blorange, that's the combination. Another student once said carrots in the ocean. So you could think of carrots in a blue ocean to remember that. So those are the three complementary pairs. And what I've done is I've drawn out some different colors, and then I'm going to do a quick demo showing how to make them darker. So we know that the complementary color for orange is blue. So on my colored pencils, I have my orange and my blues. And so I'll start off with this light blue. And if I layer light blue over an orange color, it's going to make the value darker. And at the moment you're like, well, that looks terrible. There is blue and orange and they're not integrated. They feel like you just threw some blue on top of the orange. So what I'm going to do is sandwich that complementary color in between layers of the local color, the overall color. And you can see that I'm not using the point of the colored pencil. I am sort of using the side to mix the colors together. And of course, if I want them darker, I can add more of it, and I can also increase the pressure. I can press it dark, more heavily, and that'll make it the color darker. So here you can see that I'm darkening. That's a darker orange on the value scale. And if I really want to be punchy with my dark, I can add some of this darker blue, this violet blue, and that'll make it even darker. And again, I can add a little orange back on top to pull it together. So when you squint at a value scale, it should, if you squint at it, this over here should look black, like the value should feel like it's black, even though you'll be seeing color in it. And then, of course, to make something lighter, we're going to add white, right? And if you have a warm light source, like a color light, you can add color into that to flavor it, like maybe some yellow if you have a warm light source. If you're outside, it's cooler. But this would be from dark to light for orange. So I'm gonna quickly do the same. I'm probably gonna speed up the video and do the same for red. What I'd like to show you now is that This also works in reverse. So you may think, oh, sure, I add green to make something red darker, but what about if it's a green object? Well, believe it or not, you add red to it because you're adding the complement. So even though it may seem counterintuitive, it doesn't seem to make sense. You're like, what? Why would I add red to something green? You really do. So I'll speed this up and you can watch it happen. So now we've got yellow. So what are we going to add? We're going to add violet. Now some colors, and violet is one of them, it may just not want to get dark enough. You're like, it's just not getting as dark as I want it. So what can you do? Well, give it a friend. So for those, maybe give it a little of this blue violet. Give it a little blue violet friend. Complementary color is the place to start. If it's not doing what you want, add a friend. Friends always make it better. Now you can see that it gets deep and rich, and I have a nice gratifying dark value. Okay, there it is, making dark values, making a value scale using color. I didn't once pull out a black, and I got a full range of values, and they're full and lively, and just full of color. All right, thanks a lot.